Hello there, avid listeners. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about The Jade Bones by Lenny Forbes. This is a sequel to The Seventh Son. If you remember, I had some issues with The Seventh Son. I liked the book for the most part, but there were some things that I had a problem with, specifically with some of the characterization. I'm pleased to say that Forbes has totally I'm in love with these characters. I think that they're so well done. They are so well written. I think Mayana finally is relatable. She was really my biggest issue with the first novel. I like the storytelling. I like the pacing of The Seventh Son. But here in The Jade Bones, she's relatable. In the first novel, she was more like a know-it-all. She was kind of two-dimensional. She reminded me of a Mary Sue caricature. She wasn't really this person that I could relate to. Half the time, I just wanted her... It was just kind of repetitious. Her ideals, and it's like, oh my god, shut up already. That's what I wanted to say to her as a character, but now here she's really pushed to her limits. So I will say the story is reminiscent of Dante's Inferno. Mayana and Akin, Prince Akin, they are in the underworld. And they're there because his twin sister, Prince Akin's twin sister, she tricked him into sacrificing his life, thinking the apocalypse was coming. Is she a good person? No, not really. But that's another thing this story does, is it makes the villain more relatable. I was reading her story and I'm like, you know what? I can't condone what you did, but I get it. You know, like, I get it. You're not a nice person. You're not a good person. But you were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And you did what you felt you needed to do to save yourself. You know? What I like about Prince Akin is he comes to realize that too in the story. At first, he's just like... His entire belief system has been flipped on its head. Everything he thought he knew, everything he thought was right, was actually wrong. And he's discovering more and more to trust in others. You know, as a prince, he always thought, oh, everything has to be on my shoulders. It all has to be on my shoulders. Everything, I need to do everything. I need a plan. I can't trust anyone, right? He's learning throughout this story that it's okay to share the burden with another person. He learns to kind of let down his defenses and his guard to reconcile this fact that, you know, he's not 100% right all the time. And while he is upset with his sister, he gets it. He's opening his ears to the world. He's opening his ears to Mayana. He's really listening. And that's something I think is really great for his character development as well. And like I said, Mayana, you know, they're in the underworld. They literally are going layer by layer to get to the center, because they need to first, you know, get the bones of the mother-son and return them to her, and they also have to get back to the land of the living. And they have a deadline, right? So each layer is fraught with some of their worst nightmares, and it's really pushing these characters to their limits. And I think it's really great that Mayana, she was kind of a know-it-all in the first book, but now she's like, yeah, I'm still a know-it-all, but she's having these doubts. You're getting to see these doubts. Like, everything she knew was right, and yet now she's having these doubts about the mother's plan. She's having these doubts with the character, with other characters. She's having these doubts about her own faith, and I think that that's what really makes her more compelling, because she's flawed. You're really getting to see her flaws. You're getting to see her greatest fears. You're getting to see her come alive in this story. And that's what I thought was really interesting, because finally she's relatable. You can relate to her. But what's even more amazing is the fact that we get to see Yemenia, her best friend, in the land of the living. So the story, you're following Mayana Aking in the underworld, and you're following Yemenia in the overworld, the land of the living. Yemenia is just my new favorite character. I freaking love this girl. I think it's incredible that through Yemenia, the author is promoting this idea of body positivity, that hating your body is kind of like a learned thing based on society, and you see that reflected with Yemenia. She's been emotionally and mentally and borderline physically abused by her family for not being what they think clever enough or smart enough, or mainly just not being lean enough, not as athletic, not as skinny as all her other siblings, to the point where her dad was just like, yeah, we're going to send you, in the first book, he's like, yeah, we're going to send you off just to be the sacrifice. Like, they had no faith in her trying to win the prince's heart. They were just like, yeah, we're pretty much sending you to die, and we're okay with that. And in this novel, you get to see a little bit more of that emotional abuse, because even her mother, she mentions a moment where her mother even would curl her lips in disgust at just looking at her. And you're just like, wow, this poor girl. Especially because throughout this novel, Yemenia is learning to love herself. And she's smart. Like, she may be descendant of the goddess of healing, but that doesn't mean she doesn't know how to use her brain. She is such a compelling person. I think it's so good to see her learn to love her body and respect herself in the way other people should have loved her and respected her. And you know what? She gets spoiler alert, she gets a guy. And you know what? This guy is in love with her for who she is. He is. I support their relationship 100%. He is great. She is great. They are great together. But I love that she's learning to love herself. And I love that she's coming to terms with her own strength, and how the novel may start with her, kind of being this meek girl, insecure, eyes to the ground kind of person. But by the end of it, she's just like head held high, eyes full of challenge and ferocity. And you're just like, yeah, Yemenia, you put these people in their place. You smack them. Yeah, I just love her development so much. It really does make the story so much more engaging for the reader. Now, characterization aside, I think the story is also more well done. Like I said, Dante's Inferno, sense of storytelling, and you're seeing these characters move and grow, and wow, they are becoming quite formidable. But my goodness, the pacing and the rising tension, there are a lot of elements that the author kind of throws at the reader to keep you kind of like on the edge. You don't know in what direction the story's going. There are lots of plot twists to it, and you're just like, what's exactly the plan here? What's happening? And I like that it's unpredictable, and I like that the storytelling does offer the reader something engaging to read. So that noise in the background is me sauteing some shishito peppers for my lunch for tomorrow. But gosh, I loved this book so much more than the first one. I think as a sequel, it surpasses its predecessor, because You're seeing a well-developed story unfold. You're seeing very good characterization. You are seeing something so completely worthwhile unfold. And I love how these characters are pushed to their limits. I love how they are challenged by other characters. And I love how there is an understanding. Like, you don't have to like all the other characters. God knows I don't like all the characters, but I understand them. Like, I understand their motives. I understand the decisions they make. I get it. You know, the world can be so unfair to women, especially, that you think the only way out is to do this, but maybe there was an alternative, you know? So I like that there's an understanding and relatability between the reader and the storytelling. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Jade Bones 4.5 out of 5 stars. Not quite 5, but I'm really excited to see how the story is going to play out in the third one. I'm really just in shock and awe of the storytelling, honestly. So 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, please support the author and the publisher by purchasing the book from your local bookstore or an online book retailer. All I ask is that you support your bookstores, whether they're Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, or your online book retailers, bookshop.org, your local indie bookstore in your neighborhood, IndieBound, Better Old Books, Book Depository. Support book retailers. I just ask that you don't purchase the book off of Amazon. If money's tight, please check out the book in your local library. They are there for you and are a great resource for the community. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this podcast and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.